Ever feel like you're drowning in problems? You're not alone. Hey word nerds and grammar gurus, welcome back to the MA English channel. Feeling overwhelmed by life? Ever wished you could just eavesdrop on a real conversation and hear how others deal with their struggles? Well, buckle up. This video is all about real talk. We'll be listening in on a long conversation between two friends venting about the pressures they face. These are problems you might even recognize in your own life. Here's the twist, we're going to listen to this conversation twice. The first time, it'll be all you, flexing your listening skills to catch every word. The second time? Bam! Captions on the screen, so you can shadow like a pro. Think of it like karaoke for English. This is your chance to level up your listening comprehension and speaking fluency. Ready to crush those pesky problems and sound like a native speaker? Let's do this! Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more awesome English learning tips.
Gross. I feel like I'm drowning.
Whoa, Izzy, what happened?
Everything. School, social media, relationships. It's like the universe has conspired to throw everything at me at once.
Alright, let's break it down. What's bothering you the most right now?
School. The academic pressure is insane. I have exams coming up, a mountain of assignments, and my grades are slipping. I just can't keep up.
Yeah, school can be brutal. Have you tried talking to your professors or a counselor about it?
I did, but they just give me the standard, manage your time better speech. I already know that. It doesn't help that I need more hours in a day.
Time management speech is the go-to advice for everything. Next, they'll tell you to just breathe. How insightful.
Right? I feel like I'm already doing everything I can. I study late into the night, but the stress just keeps building.
Maybe you need to switch things up. Studying late at night isn't always the best. Have you tried studying in the morning?
Morning? I'm not even sure I know what a morning is anymore.
Fair point. But seriously, what if you tried breaking your study sessions into shorter chunks throughout the day? Give your brain a break.
I guess I could try that. It just feels like there's no end in sight. And then there's the anxiety and everything that comes with it.
Anxiety? Izzy, you've never mentioned that before. How bad is it?
It's pretty bad. I get these panic attacks sometimes. It feels like I can't breathe, and my heart races like crazy. It's terrifying.
That sounds serious. Have you talked to anyone about it? A therapist, maybe?
I've thought about it, but there's this stigma, Like admitting it makes me weak or something.
That's nonsense, and you know it. Mental health is just as important as physical health. If you had a broken leg, you wouldn't hesitate to see a doctor, right?
True, but it's just hard to take that step. Plus, what if people find out? What if they judge me?
Screw them. The people who matter won't judge you. They'll support you. And the ones who judge, they don't matter.
I know you're right. I just need to muster up the courage to make that call.
You've got this. I'll even go with you if you want.
Thanks. That means a lot. And speaking of judgment, have you seen the latest drama on social media?
Oh boy, here we go. What happened this time?
I posted a picture yesterday and the comments. Ugh, people are so mean. I got called all sorts of names, and now I'm second-guessing everything I post.
Social media can be a real cesspool. It's like some people wake up and choose violence.
It's not even funny, but you're right. I try to brush it off, but it gets to me. Why do people have to be so cruel?
Misery loves company. They're probably dealing with their own insecurities and taking it out on others. But you don't have to let them get to you.
Easier said than done. Sometimes I feel like deleting all my accounts and disappearing from the digital world.
That's one way to go about it. Or you could just block the trolls and keep sharing your awesome self. Let your friends support you and drown out the negativity.
Maybe I'll try that. I could use a social media cleanse, though.
Do it. A break might be exactly what you need. Focus on the real world for a bit.
Thanks, Gross. You always know what to say. But you seem a little worried or sad. What's going on with you? You've been listening to me vent all this time, but you look like you have something on your mind too.
You caught me, Iza. I guess I've been trying to ignore it, but yeah, I've got my own set of worries.
Tell me about it. What's bothering you?
Well, for starters, there's this constant anxiety about the future. You know, the whole what do I do after graduation nightmare. I feel like everyone else has their life figured out except me. It's like I'm standing at a crossroads, and every path looks equally terrifying.
I get it. The future can be really scary, especially when it feels like the decisions we make now will define the rest of our lives. But you're not alone in this. I'm sure many of us feel the same way.
Yeah, but it's like every time I think about it, my brain goes into overdrive. What if I choose the wrong career path? What if I hate it? What if I fail?
Those are a lot of what ifs. Have you tried thinking about what you actually enjoy doing? What are you passionate about?
That's the thing. I'm passionate about so many things, but none of them seem to fit into a neat career box. I love writing, but I also enjoy technology and science. And then there's this part of me that wants to travel and explore the world. How do I combine all that into one career?
Well, unless you find a way to become a traveling sci-fi writer who codes on the go, you might have to prioritize. But seriously, maybe you don't have to choose just one thing. Many people have multiple careers or hobbies that they pursue.
Yeah, I'll just invent a job that combines everything I love. But it's not just about my interests. It's the expectations, too. My family has these huge expectations for me.
Family expectations? Let me guess, they want you to follow a certain path?
Exactly. My parents, especially my dad, have this idea of me becoming a lawyer or a doctor. They've practically mapped out my entire future. Anything less is a disappointment to them.
That sounds tough. Have you tried talking to them about what you want?
Oh, I've tried. But it's like talking to a brick wall. They hear me, but they don't really listen. They keep saying they just want what's best for me, but I don't think they understand what that means for me.
You have to make them understand. You can't live your life based on someone else's dreams. What's the point of being successful if you're miserable?
I know, Iza. It's just hard to break out of this mold they've set for me. And there's always this fear of letting them down. They've done so much for me, and I feel like I owe it to them to succeed by their standards.
I understand that, but you owe it to yourself to be happy and fulfilled. Have you considered finding a middle ground? Something that meets some of their expectations, but also makes you happy?
I've thought about it, but finding that balance is tricky. They see any deviation from their plan as a failure. It's like I'm trapped in this impossible situation where I can't win.
Maybe you need to show them that success can look different from what they envision. There are so many ways to be successful that don't involve a traditional path.
You're right. I just need to find the courage to stand up for myself and my dreams. It's scary, though. It's like jumping off a cliff and hoping there's water below. Thanks, Iza. That means a lot.
Gross. I feel like I'm drowning.
Whoa, Iza. What happened?
Everything. School, social media, relationships. It's like the universe has conspired to throw everything at me at once.
All right, let's break it down. What's bothering you the most right now?
School. The academic pressure is insane. I have exams coming up, a mountain of assignments, and my grades are slipping. I just can't keep up.
Yeah, school can be brutal. Have you tried talking to your professors or a counselor about it?
I did, but they just give me the standard, manage your time better speech. I already know that. It doesn't help that I need more hours in a day.
Time management speech is the go-to advice for everything. Next, they'll tell you to just breathe. How insightful.
Right? I feel like I'm already doing everything I can. I study late into the night, but the stress just keeps building.
Maybe you need to switch things up. Studying late at night isn't always the best. Have you tried studying in the morning?
Morning? I'm not even sure I know what a morning is anymore.
Fair point. But seriously, what if you tried breaking your study sessions into shorter chunks throughout the day? Give your brain a break.
I guess I could try that. It just feels like there's no end in sight. And then there's the anxiety and everything that comes with it.
Anxiety? Isaiah, you've never mentioned that before. How bad is it?
It's pretty bad. I get these panic attacks sometimes. It feels like I can't breathe, and my heart races like crazy. It's terrifying.
That sounds serious. Have you talked to anyone about it? A therapist, maybe?
I've thought about it, but there's this stigma, Like admitting it makes me weak or something.
That's nonsense, and you know it. Mental health is just as important as physical health. If you had a broken leg, you wouldn't hesitate to see a doctor, right?
True, but it's just hard to take that step. Plus, what if people find out? What if they judge me?
Screw them. The people who matter won't judge you. They'll support you. And the ones who judge, they don't matter.
I know you're right. I just need to muster up the courage to make that call.
You've got this. I'll even go with you if you want.
Thanks. That means a lot. And speaking of judgment, have you seen the latest drama on social media?
Oh boy, here we go. What happened this time?
I posted a picture yesterday and the comments. Ugh, people are so mean. I got called all sorts of names, and now I'm second-guessing everything I post.
Social media can be a real cesspool. It's like some people wake up and choose violence.
It's not even funny, but you're right. I try to brush it off, but it gets to me. Why do people have to be so cruel?
Misery loves company. They're probably dealing with their own insecurities and taking it out on others. But you don't have to let them get to you.
Easier said than done. Sometimes I feel like deleting all my accounts and disappearing from the digital world.
That's one way to go about it. Or you could just block the trolls and keep sharing your awesome self. Let your friends support you and drown out the negativity.
Maybe I'll try that. I could use a social media cleanse, though.
Do it. A break might be exactly what you need. Focus on the real world for a bit.
Thanks, Gross. You always know what to say. But you seem a little worried or sad. What's going on with you? You've been listening to me vent all this time, but you look like you have something on your mind too.
You caught me, Isaiah. I guess I've been trying to ignore it, but yeah, I've got my own set of worries.
Tell me about it. What's bothering you?
Well, for starters, there's this constant anxiety about the future. The whole what do I do after graduation nightmare. I feel like everyone else has their life figured out except me. It's like I'm standing at a crossroads, and every path looks equally terrifying.
I get it. The future can be really scary, especially when it feels like the decisions we make now will define the rest of our lives. But you're not alone in this. I'm sure many of us feel the same way.
Yeah, but it's like every time I think about it, my brain goes into overdrive. What if I choose the wrong career path? What if I hate it? What if I fail?
Those are a lot of what ifs. Have you tried thinking about what you actually enjoy doing? What are you passionate about?
That's the thing. I'm passionate about so many things, but none of them seem to fit into a neat career box. I love writing, but I also enjoy technology and science. And then there's this part of me that wants to travel and explore the world. How do I combine all that into one career?
Well, unless you find a way to become a traveling sci-fi writer who codes on the go, you might have to prioritize. But seriously, maybe you don't have to choose just one thing. Many people have multiple careers or hobbies that they pursue.
Yeah, I'll just invent a job that combines everything I love. But it's not just about my interests. It's the expectations, too. My family has these huge expectations for me.
Family expectations? Let me guess, they want you to follow a certain path?
Exactly. My parents, especially my dad, have this idea of me becoming a lawyer or a doctor. They've practically mapped out my entire future. Anything less is a disappointment to them.
That sounds tough. Have you tried talking to them about what you want?
Oh, I've tried. But it's like talking to a brick wall. They hear me, but they don't really listen. They keep saying they just want what's best for me, but I don't think they understand what that means for me.
You have to make them understand. You can't live your life based on someone else's dreams. What's the point of being successful if you're miserable?
I know, Iza. It's just hard to break out of this mold they've set for me. And there's always this fear of letting them down. They've done so much for me, and I feel like I owe it to them to succeed by their standards.
I understand that, but you owe it to yourself to be happy and fulfilled. Have you considered finding a middle ground? Something that meets some of their expectations, but also makes you happy?
I've thought about it, but finding that balance is tricky. They see any deviation from their plan as a failure. It's like I'm trapped in this impossible situation where I can't win.
Maybe you need to show them that success can look different from what they envision. There are so many ways to be successful that don't involve a traditional path.
You're right. I just need to find the courage to stand up for myself and my dreams. It's scary, though. It's like jumping off a cliff and hoping there's water below. Thanks, Iza. That means a lot.